I think these days are very important, mostly because of the fact that Bitcoin is still holding relatively strong at this level and we don't see much of a correction. But at the same time, we have a significant changes which are happening with the dominance level of Bitcoin and the altcoin market. You see, Bitcoin dominance is still hold something around 58% and it is close to 60% already, which was previous high. So basically altcoins are bleeding a lot. And when the people are looking at the price of Bitcoin, they think like, okay, we should have some correction, especially after such huge rise, but we don't see that much, like those 30-40% which happened in 2015. But at the same time, just consider the fact that Bitcoin only has 60% of the total market capitalization of cryptocurrencies. Well, if you will exclude like really low capitalization altcoins, then you will have like additional 20 or maybe 30% of the capitalization occupied by the altcoins. And now if you look at that, then you would see that we actually had the drop of something around 22% or more from the highest point. And this is actually very close to the correction which you would expect to Bitcoin. Huge investors, whales, they do prefer the high liquidity market like Bitcoin. But now with the algorithmic trading, you can actually set up your strategy through API and everything pretty easily through the whole market of cryptocurrencies. And again, while we don't have this correction for Bitcoin, we do have this correction for the altcoins. In fact, if you look at the altcoin market starting from December, when we had the, well, probably the lowest point of the price for most of them and Bitcoin as well, then you would see that most of the correction that we have was like 30% here and maybe about 20% here, and now also like 20-25% after the recent rise. We even have this support line which we actually touched just very recently, and the point is, whenever we have such a huge correction, we always have a pullback. And so far actually we had the return of the altcoins price even higher than the previous level, like you see it from the dominance level of Bitcoin. Now it is an extraordinary condition when the altcoins is very oversold comparing to the whole period of time so far from even like September last year. Moreover, here is the metrics which I was going to show you from Blocktown Capital. They compared ROI of Bitcoin versus top 5 coins basket index from April 16th. And you can see that pretty much through the whole period of time from 2016, with rare exceptions, altcoins from the top 5 were outperforming Bitcoin quite a lot. Of course, it's more risky, of course they changed, and you can say that in fact this is like the bull market from 2016 and we don't have the bear market pretty much except 2018 and 19. But even at that period of time, you see altcoins from top 5, of course we don't take into account really shitcoins, they were outperforming Bitcoin quite a lot. Despite the fact that they are much riskier and have lower liquidity, still it seems likely that you'd have the more profit eventually if you hold it for a longer period of time than just like a couple of months and don't fall in a paradigm like buy high, sell low. Then you'd more likely to have higher profits than comparing to just investing in Bitcoin only. Of course, I don't say guys buy altcoins for 100% of your portfolio, but some diversification is a key to get profits on the cryptocurrency market in my opinion. And again, right now, remembering the phrase buy when everybody sell, or like when it's blood in the streets, it's probably the time when we see a lot of the altcoins, like for example Cardano, which actually by the way made a perfect play out of this inverted head and shoulders. It's actually now below the previous neckline and really oversold. You can look at Stellar. Stellar is actually lower than the level of February, lower in level in December. It wasn't that low Bitcoin wise from basically December 2017. So this discount, despite all the weakness of the asset, seems too tempting to not to dollar cost average it, at least to a little extent. Again, it doesn't necessarily happen tomorrow that we will have the decline of Bitcoin dominance and we'll see altcoins rising. Maybe we will have even higher Bitcoin dominance level. Maybe we'll have the altcoins bleeding out a little bit more. But again, it's just the point of time when we can set a certain like very tight stop order and try to get a position in such a nice switch prices, like for example NEO again, December level Bitcoin wise. It's absolutely crazy. You see this huge significant drop. The same way with the rise. If it's such sharp, such deep, it is much more likely to see the pullback or even reversal at that point than the continuation of the drop. Pretty much the same with IOTA, had a partnership and had a little bit of the rise, but still was very, very oversold over here. And XRP, very oversold. Ethereum continuing to decline. Ontology, pretty much at the level of February, and so on and so forth. So you can see that if the trend which we had during the overall accumulation period of Bitcoin and overall crypto market from like end of 2018 when we had these waves, if this trend will not be broken and we will not see the complete new phase with altcoins being drastically declining in price, I would say that somewhere around here we may see a reversal of the cryptocurrency market when we should have maybe sideways price action for Bitcoin and altcoins going to a positive, to the green zone again. As usual guys, not a financial advice, but me personally, I'm considering to add some portion of my portfolio into altcoins from Bitcoin right now, maybe within a few days or a week, especially the ones which I like and see declined like 30% or 40%, like the same Cardano. If you'll measure, not picking any particular, just for example 35%, it's outrageous. It should be corrected upwards, at least short term. Of course, Bitcoin may change the picture. We may have a sudden drop, we may have a surge up to $6,000 or something like that. Of course, it will affect the altcoin price and usually in another positive way. However, right now when we stabilized around here, when Bitcoin is more or less like tries to hold the ground, probably we may expect that some nice gain in altcoins will start to show up. And that is it for today. I hope it was useful. Thank you for watching.